All right, and here we are on Whirlwind. Down at the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have our purple Zerg player from Dream Team Gaming, a player we're unaware of. It's Happen, and he happens to be against his opponent in the top left-hand corner, our red Terran player from NSHO, winner of the last game, trying to bring it to a lead for them. It is DTG.
So cross positions. Might happen that we have a macro match on our hands here.
Possible.
Quite possible on Whirlwind. A nice map to, well, it's actually a nice map to be aggressive on, if you want to be completely honest. It's pretty big, but at the same time, you just have such gigantic ramps. Yeah, I'm not confusing this KDR, okay.
No.
So, but, oh goodness, at that natural expansion, yeah, it's pretty wide. So it can be pretty possible to get things done, especially if you're a Terran player. But, you know, I mean, Zergs, it's still not too hard for Terrans to wall off no matter how big your ramp is. It's just like, oh, I have to build an extra supply depot over there. Okay.
Yeah. And, no, I'm not wanting to chat with the replay here, so we'll get rid of that.
It's probably really lonely, though, to be honest.
I know.
Like,
so.
let's just...
Hi. It reminds me of when Legend started typing in the middle of Stefano's games at the Juso World Championship, when he was like, what are these players doing? I'm tired. I just want to go home. Yeah.
I love that guy.
All right, so no real surprise. Hatch first, of course, coming out for Happen. DTG going to go for a command center first. Weird that he built it on the low ground in the last game with a shorter walk distance, and in this game he feels a little bit more afraid, so he's building it on the high ground. I wonder if he's going to try and hide something, but we'll find out. Barracks coming down. DTG, a very interesting player in TVZ. He actually has quite a bit of flexibility. He actually can play very dynamic, very greedy mech games from time to time. But he's especially adept at that multi-pronged bio game that we see out of players like Polt.
Yeah, things that are, oh yeah, out of Polt. Oh my goodness. If you guys missed it, IPL losers semifinals, Polt versus Bomber. I mean, it was game number 3, Polt showing some of the most incredible control versus mech that I've ever seen, and I've watched a lot of StarCraft, but it was pretty mind-blowing stuff. And, you know, I mean, DTG, he is notorious, as you said, for that biomicro. A couple of legends up there, MKP, Polt, DTG, NST. He's so good with his Marines. But I mean, it's NST, man. He invented Marines.
Nesty's good at everything.
So DTG now going to be heading out with his scouts as this game does get started.
Yeah, and it looks like it was quick gas for Happen here, so maybe this is a case of DTG knowing his opponent a little bit better than we do, but it's, you know, I mean, more and more Zerg players have been doing this. They've not been going after the quick 3 base, no gas, 6 queen build kind of thing anymore. Terran players have found ways to deal with it. And I like the versions that incorporate speed earlier, and I especially like the versions that are very Hyun-esque. Large waves of aggression in the middle of the game, bailing roach attack to set up, hamper your opponent's economy, and then set up your own very quick, you know, tier 3 tech.
No, you're completely right, though. We have seen players, you know, overinvest into that Ling Bane aggression, but overall, I mean, it really does provide fantastic opportunities. Maybe we'll even see a swing back to some of those Ling Bane Roach all-ins that were so useful, because we really don't see many players going for tank openings anymore. They're getting so uncommon, and that was really, I mean, one of the few ways to hold that off. Fast tanks or fast Marine Hellion, but you know, scouting it does get more and more ever easy, as there is an SCV right now, by the way, getting a full peek around Happen space.
Yeah, and sees that.
I guess that's not really peeking, is it? If it's a full peek.
Yeah, I mean, that's just looking at that point. So
just blatantly staring.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the SCV is killed, though, important to note, Happen goes right back to 3 workers on gas. And he's not put down a 3rd base quite yet. So we're getting to the 6-minute mark. That's about when it should happen. Okay, there we go. And it is indeed being placed down in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, I want to see what he follows this up with, though, because he invests back into his gas really quickly. Are we going to see a fast layer here? And there's the Roachhorn. He's actually going down the Hyun build path. This is Roachhorn. It's usually followed up by double evolution chambers, or at least that's what Hyun does, I should say. This is not necessarily indicative of what Happen's style is, but Hyun usually follows this up with 2 evolution chambers, invests in upgrades, makes a big like 8 Roach push just to test the front, and then transitions up into a little bit higher tech.
I can actually, if we see like 3 or 4 Roaches instead, it's much more Dongreku style, which is actually really, really strong versus these Hellion builds. So, I mean, yeah, basically, It could also, happen pioneering his own thing. He's like, look, you guys are giving all these credits to all these other Zerg players, but I actually invented this myself. But really, guys, so there are 8 roaches. So as you were saying, this does look like the aggression that we're used to seeing out of Hyun, because there's no reason to make 8 roaches defensively at 730.
Yeah, Hyun's usually got 2 evolution chambers by now, though, so it's a little bit different. But there's 1, there's 2. Okay, so never mind. Maybe he is just a little bit modified version of that, but I feel like I've seen this way too often.
Well,
having
you were
casted
right.
Hyun in Fight Club.
The timing here was... it was definitely late. He's running on 2 gases. At 2 gases, you drop both your Evo chambers at 100 gas, and right when they finish, you'll have exactly 250. But if you drop it at 150, he's going to have 300 gas nearly when these finish. So,
all right. Well, let's see here. As Jokshi's going up to a third base, he's got his cloaked banshees and everything like that.
Like, I swear I know my timings.
And he's actually making 3 bunkers. That's a little bit overkill because these 8 roaches are not designed to kill you. They're designed to get out there. They're to put on pressure. They're to delay for a little while you set up your infrastructure everywhere else. Layer Tech is coming up now. 4 Spore Crawlers are coming up now, but not great control out of Happen, honestly. He loses 4 of his roaches immediately. Or 3 of them, I guess.
All right, Roach is going to be coming forward right now. With that Banshee on the field, Jokshi has the potential to get a lot of damage in here.
And this is the attack that's so strong from Terran players. With that Banshee overhead, the additional DPS, such a nice maneuver. Needs to get out of the range of the Spore Crawler, though. That's being under 2 Spore Crawlers.
That's a hard game to play, though.
He decides that it's worth it to take out the Queen, and we'll see if that indeed is worth it here in a bit.
Yeah, it does hamper the production, definitely. Maybe in a short run, that's definitely worth it, but in the long run, not so much. Tough to call. Either way, Roach is going to not pick up a free Hellion here. And there still are 8 Hellions left here for Jokshi.
Who is, I should point out, going for mech. He's got double upgrades coming for his mech forces, weapons and armor now on the way up. Got that Viking to clear out overlords and provide himself some vision. 2 more factories being dropped down, so everything's hitting for him. He's investing into his economy quite well. Now, if I had to see a version of mech, Jokshi's, I imagine, would be a little bit more aggressive, just considering who he is. I said before that Jokshi can play a very interesting style of mech, and he certainly can, whereas most players nowadays are even waiting past. It used to be like 150 supply, just go out and do damage and try and interrupt your Zerg opponent. Most players are waiting a little bit longer now for that to actually happen. I would still say that Jokshi's going to, if I had to make a prediction, edge on the side of that 150 supply attack. Just get out there a little bit quicker to disrupt your opponent.
Yeah, it's definitely a good call. Jokshi right now has complete map control. Baneling Nest is going down, though, for Happen, as well as the Spire. The Spire is just going to help so much in dealing with this Banshee harass, of course. But it's definitely too late to deal with, dealing any crazy counter damage. A 2 base Muta is incredibly strong against this, but with how late this Spire is coming down, it's really just going to be a way to combat the mech itself and maybe provide a little bit of harass and prevent Jokshi from moving out.
And it is still good. I mean, that's the one thing that mech doesn't really have going for it is decent anti-air. Speedlings coming in completely unopposed. There's units that are sitting over at the natural, but they're not doing anything, and Jokshi actually just lost a fair amount of workers. He's already lost 9 in this game. He's forced to retreat with everything. More roaches are trying to swing around to the right-hand side, and a couple of Hellions are going to go down as a result. Very nice attack from Happen.
Oh, beautiful. Getting a ton of damage in there. And whatever he had lost, he has just equalized. So 12, wow, he's making 12 mutas right now, Kevin. That's going to be really, really scary. Jokshi, if he's moving out with these Hellions, he could completely get these caught out towards the middle of the map.
Oh, he will too. I mean, they're fast enough that they're going to make their way up to the natural, but that's exactly when these are going to spawn. So unless he just stops them and waits for more to gather up, in which case he won't even be able to get in and do that sort of damage, the mutas are going to reveal themselves and start picking away at these Hellions that can't direct their little fire laser beam shot things up. I don't even know what it's called. Flamethrower. That's what I was looking for. That really
sucks, though, for Hellions, Kevin, because, if Hellions were able to shoot into the sky, they would, of course, immediately just light up those wings. Look how thin and papery Mutalisk wings are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so...
Heart of the Swarm Mutalisk buffs that were pretty awesome. Higher regen rates and faster, too. Those were awesome.
I'm really excited to start holding shift and clicking on my Mutalisk icons.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's see here now as... Okay, Jokshi's going to swing back in. There's actually nothing here to defend against this, so all that economic damage we were just talking about is going to be reciprocated. Oh, boy, that's a slaughter. That could not have actually been a worse position for those drones to be in.
That queen needs to be fired.
That was tough to watch. Okay, where are these Mutalisks? Actually don't know. Trying to see if they're swinging around for more damage. No, they're actually coming back to try and deal with the Hellions. And that's not a good use of their time because these Hellions are fast enough, they're just going to retreat.
I still can't get over all those drones. In case you missed what happened, he didn't mineral click his drones. Tried to just run them, so they all got caught up in that queen, and then they died.
Well, Banshee's just sitting
That was
out
a
there
free
for no
Banshee.
apparent reason.
He was like a camouflaged Banshee, man. The Mutalisk just flew right by him, didn't even notice him.
Oh, and Jockji holds. He's going to lose workers as a result of this. Pretty bad amount of workers, too, but he takes a few Mutalisks with him. So the economic damage is actually being reciprocated. These Thors were way out of position. They can't actually react in time. Looks like a tank may get picked up. That wasn't actually all that well advised because 3 more Mutalisks died as a result.
Yeah, and actually, if he hadn't picked up the tank, he would have been able to pick up Siege Tank. Of course, an opportunity that he... Siege Tech, excuse me. An opportunity he didn't know at the time, but that would have actually worked out for him if he had fallen back instead of allowing those Thors to catch up. Hellion's going to be moving out across the map now under the bloody gore of some Overlords. Not nearly as sweet as Broodlord gore, but...
No. That Viking, though, has certainly been worth its weight in gold. Killed 5 Overlords so far.
Wow.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And look at these Blue Flame Hellions going completely unopposed once again. At the same time, there is a big attack that's making its way into Jockji's base, but the economic damage has been dealt.
That's a lot of Thor standing in line. I feel like they're going to lunch.
Oh, no, and he actually sits on top of the supply depot so we can roll the rest of the units in. They actually can't raise. Banelings got to get something done. There's no siege tanks around. Where are the siege tanks? More economic damage being done at the moment, and this is actually a pretty bad spot for Jockji.
What a slugfest between these two guys. I mean, Jockji's, yeah, he's taking a lot of damage right now. He's definitely not out of this quite yet, however, but the roaches at the front are going to make this very difficult because now he actually can't send his mech units back to his main to defend here.
Yeah, I mean, these roaches are lining up under the splash, so they're taking a little bit more damage, yes, but how many workers have been killed? Already 102. We're only at the 16-minute mark, and 102 workers have been killed. That's a staggering amount. The overall worker count's 25 to 45, and these Hellions are continuing to do damage. We're essentially going to reset the economy back to 0 here.
Zerg does have a slight advantage still, but 4 command centers on the field right now for Jockji.
Yeah, but I mean, he's lost all of his economy. I mean, at this point, things are really devastating for him. He's got a decently powerful force on the map, but now he's down to 14 workers, and even with 4 command centers, man, you have very little recovery options after that.
Yeah, he has to consolidate at this point and really get everything into one small knit area because with how stretched out he is, again, as a mech player, he can't have this many expansions and hold it. It's not possible. He does not have enough siege tanks.
He's actually got to cancel his planetary fortress and lift that up. Oh, please, for the love of God, do that. That would be devastating to Jockji. He is going to lose that. That's a command center down, and that's a big blow to Jockji. Even though he's trying to reproduce his workers right now, yes, and that's what he's a little more worried about, that's still really, really bad for him. And already we see the power of the larvae there. Even though Happen doesn't have that many forces on the map, just 22 roaches, he's been able to spend all of his larvae, all of his injects, and just put them directly into drones, and he's already back up to 59 workers.
Yep, Zerg ability to resupply is so good. Banshee's going to be cleaning up a couple of units out here in the middle of the map, but now 3 Mutalisks are on the way, and that is going to just send those Banshees home so quickly.
6 mules at a time is pretty powerful, though. I mean, that was a good shot of income right there for Jockji, and he is able to start at least recovering his overall worker count. He's back up to 30 workers, but that's still not going to be enough. And actually, all of these mules are taking extra things of minerals and not able to return all of them.
Well, Jockji should really salvage those parts and use them to repair his Storm.
Yeah.
Banshees are going to be pulling out of here with Cloak, of course.
And it did some pretty good damage once again. They killed a few more workers, so we're up to 137 workers killed in this game.
That math, Kevin, stop showing off, man. It's too good.
That's what I do.
I have to solve math problems every morning to turn off my alarm clock. I can't do it that fast.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see if I can do another one, too. There's been 340 workers, or 40 units killed overall in this game, so... Anyway.
At least I know that your vocabulary is possibly not perfect.
Let's see here.
Such bad English. All right.
That's all right.
Thor's getting picked off right now, guys. That was a nice victory for Hap, and he's going to be falling back with these roaches. And, I mean, he lost like 2 or 3 there. That was really, really nice.
This is a weird game. I mean, because Jockji's he's back up to 44 workers, so his economy is fine again. He should actually be thinking about putting the mules down at this base because he doesn't really want to return workers there necessarily. Mm-hmm. This Viking has just done so much work, though. 6 overlords it's killed already, so, I mean, it's paid for itself. Time and time again.
It's like a nice holiday bonus check.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, unfortunately, these Hellions getting anything done. Looks like one will sneak through and It may pick up a couple of worker kills here, and actually it does,
It
but...
gets exactly a couple and then dies.
Yeah.
Kevin, also predictor of the future.
Yes, Nostradamus in my spare time. The world is not going to end on December 21st. Just putting that out there.
And you know what? That's straight up. I don't know the name of it, but that's a Loki plan right there. Because if you're wrong, you still win because the world ends and nobody can tell you that you were wrong. But if you're right, then everybody gives you praise and
there you go.
Calls you.
No, it's because it ends on the 23rd. So
What? Why?
I don't know. It's just my gut feeling. Jakji's got a lot of tanks. He doesn't have a ton of anti-air here, but it doesn't matter because his opponent has switched over totally into his Infestor counts. Now, Infestors, this is going to be interesting. I mean, this is on new patch, so those Infestors have one less range, and the tanks will be able to pick them off a little bit easier than normal.
So, Kevin, in the future, we're going to have to be picking a player who's in favor to help some with the new polling systems that they may have coming out. Mm-hmm. This, it's not a sure thing yet, guys, but this is what they're working on. So, Kevin, right now, if you had to pick a player who's going to take this game, who is it?
I'd say Dream Team Gaming's Happen did not push his advantage as much as he should, and he could actually die to this push while he's trying to transition in tech.
Yeah, especially with that Greater Spire going down, I got to agree with you. We'll see if he can hold it off. Infested Terrence going down, but he's only got 5 Infestors, maybe 6, and everything just dies instantly.
Yeah, I mean, he had his opportunities. I think if he had just decided to continue punishing his opponent through the air, I think he would have been fine, but he tried. I mean, he sat back, he got his economy in place, that's good. But afterwards, it was nothing but roaches, and I think if he had just gone for straight-up Mutalisk, he could have kept his opponent pinned in. And I'm sorry, those Infestors just died way too cost-inefficiently, and it looks like Jakji is going to take a second game here. Happen had the possibility of taking his opponent out, but it's not enough. There's GG. Jakji takes the game, and he puts NSHO up 3-2.
Really, really nicely played game out of Jakji once again, and DTG suddenly finding themselves behind for the first time in this series.
Yeah, yes, indeed they are. So they have to send in a new player, and it looks like that is going to be Pulsar, which is a Terran player. So a player that I'm not as familiar with once again, but Jakji's gone through PVC, TVZ, he's gone through TVP, and his TVT is actually kind of an interesting point for him. Going into the Tournament of Champions that we ran after Team Arena Challenge 2, I think it was. Yeah, Team Arena Challenge 2. He had to play a lot of Terran players. In fact, we joked that it was the Tournament of Terrans instead of the Tournament of Champions. And going into it, we thought, I don't know how his TVT is going to be. Then he ended up winning with a lot of very crafty styles of play. It wasn't a lot of good frontline engagements or anything. So I think this matchup could give him a little bit of trouble.
I am going to be intrigued to see if we see some utilization of some sweet, cool, unconventional strategies. Guys, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. It's going to be game number 6 between Jakji and Pulsar coming up here in just a minute. It's going to be a TVT on Doomed Valley.